opportunity for questions, and I will also stick a link in the chat at the end so that you can book in a call in case you wanted any additional information in a kind of a bit more of a tailored way. So like I say, we'll just wait a few more minutes just to see if there are any stragglers, and then yeah, I will share my screen and kick us off. Thanks for the question, Tom. Any others, do feel free to stick them in the chat as well. I actually don't have an EV myself. I live in London, and yeah, I don't actually have access. I don't have my own parking space. I wouldn't have anywhere to charge it. And yeah, the public transport's so good here that I kind of don't really feel like I need one. But it is something that is on my radar when I potentially move out a little bit further from central London, which is sort of where I'm based at the minute. So yes, we've waited a couple of minutes. So I think that's probably long enough. I think I'll go ahead and start sharing my screen. We can jump into the slides. It is being recorded anyway for the benefit of anyone who joins afterwards, and including yourselves as well. So yeah, like I say, that will be available to you afterwards. So let's go ahead and jump right in. So obviously, we are Octopus Electric Vehicles. We are part of the Octopus Energy Group, and I think that puts us in a really unique position with our EV salary sacrifice offering, where we can obviously offer you not only the car, but also the charger and energy. So it really is the whole package that we are able to offer you. And as part of that, you know, being part of the Octopus Energy Group, we can help obviously with the electric vehicle side of things, but we're really able to assist you with supercharging your net zero journey with Octopus. So whether that be obviously brand new or nearly new EVs on salary sacrifice, but also we could electrify your fleet with business leasing. We also can assist with EV charging on the go with Electroverse, which is our app. I will touch on that a little bit more later on. EV charging at work as well is something else that we partner with a company called Blink, who can install those workplace chargers for you, whereas we can take care of either doing the charger at home or with public charging credit if you do take an electric vehicle through us. And additionally, we do also have green energy tariffs for your businesses if, again, you're looking onto that sustainability journey and want to look at green energy solutions. We're absolutely more than willing to help out with that. And finally, we even do, obviously, as part of our sustainability drive, we offer money off, £500 off solar panel and heat pump installations at your home. But a little bit more about who we are, just to kind of narrow the focus a little bit. So Octopus Electric Vehicles has been offering the salary sacrifice scheme since 2021. We now have over 7,000 employers that have chosen us as their EV benefits provider, and we are the fastest growing EV retailer in the UK. Now, we are fully funded ourselves, so we're not a broker. You're never going to be dealing with any kind of third parties or anything like that. All your communications are always going to be with us. And we've funded and delivered over 37,000 EVs to date. So we are also the largest all-electric leasing company in the UK. And something that we're really proud of is that we have maintained the #1 rated service in the market during that time. So if you were to go onto Trustpilot, you would see that we have got 95% of our reviews at either 4 or 5 stars. And in addition to that, we have also won awards for UK Customer Experience Awards in 2023 and 2024. And we have also been voted top 10 best places to work. I know you might be wondering, why is that relevant to you? But as I'm sure you know, people that are happy in their work will generally be happy to pick up to their phone and speak to their customers. So, you know, chances are when you ring up and speak to Octopus, you'll be speaking with someone who's very happy to be there and happy to help you as well. Now, in terms of the scheme itself, I'd like to get into the nuts and bolts of that. So in terms of the headlines here, the good news is it is free, it's flexible, and there's really no commitment from you. So it's totally free to set up. There's no joining fee, there's no admin fee. And in fact, obviously, due to the national insurance contributions that employers save, it's virtually a cost neutral perk that you're able to offer your employees. One thing to stress as well is that there is no exclusivity agreement with Octopus. We are confident in our own offering, in our levels of customer service, and in the value that we're able to deliver, and the offers and the quality of experience, that we don't have any exclusivity at all. And equally, there is no minimum requirements on uptake. So you don't need to say, we're going to take 4, 5, 10 vehicles and agree to that, and that's something that you need to stick to. That's absolutely not the case with us. It's very much something that you could just have even up and running in the background, and it could be something that you shout about in terms of maybe wanting to recruit new employees, that kind of thing. And additionally, we can work with you to personalize the scheme to your business. Ultimately, it is your scheme. So if there's certain ways that you want to tailor communications to your employees, certain eligibility criteria that you want to set, then that's absolutely fine as well. Now, what is the importance of employee benefits in today's sort of job market? Well, everyone is facing cost and retention challenges. As I'm sure you're aware, the cost of everything just seems to be going up. It seems to be harder to keep your best people, and that's all the while budgets are staying the same. And research shows that it can cost between £1,500 to £3,000 to recruit a new team member. So that's obviously something that we want to avoid. And in an increasingly competitive job marketplace, it is very relevant that 59% of employees are more likely to join or stay with a business if they have a comprehensive benefits package in place. I know that's something I certainly looked at when I joined Octopus, in terms of what are the extra little things I can get just on top of my basic salary. And additionally, 73% of employees want their 73% of employees, want their employers to offer cash saving benefits, of which salary sacrifice is a really, really big one. Now, from the perspective of you as an employer, this is a way that you can really offer your workforce maximum reward, but also at no cost. So we've got an indication here of the savings that you can make through the national insurance contributions that you'll forego as an employer. It's important to note that the figures you see here are almost on the lower level, because we typically set up the scheme with to pass back 10% of the national insurance savings that you make as an employer to the employees, while retaining the other 5% to cover your Class 1A national insurance costs. So obviously there's a total of 15% of savings there. So 10% goes to the employees to reduce the cost of the scheme, encourage adoption, and ultimately kind of get more people on there. And you can see there, with just an indication, with even just one vehicle, you could be saving £432 a year. And then it obviously increases in increments of around that, as it's based on a standard vehicle that you can get through the scheme. And most of our clients do choose to pass those savings on, like I say, because it does further encourage the team to be more sustainable. And we found that if these savings are passed on, the uptake of the scheme can, almost as much as double. And obviously, another aspect of this is in terms of the sustainability. We're not just looking at the cost savings and the retention benefits that exist. So, we can see here on the graphic what kind of 1 car, 10 cars, 25 cars equates to in terms of potential CO2 emission savings, and what that is in terms of the equivalent for trees planted. And I know, research has shown that 75% of employers say they're more likely to work for an organization that helps contribute to a greener planet. So this is something that's becoming, increasingly important criteria when someone's looking at their next role. And as well, from your company perspective, These could be important as part of your corporate social responsibility, and they show a commitment to protecting the planet, which again is something that people consider when they're looking for a new role. Now, what's included in the package? So we basically provide you with everything you need to get on the road, but also to stay on the road. So obviously you get the electric car, and there is no deposit there. You've got fully comprehensive insurance with total loss cover. You've got breakdown cover, servicing and repairs, MOT and road tax, and even tire replacement for worn and damaged tires. And when it comes to the end of your lease, we do also include a end of contract £500 damage waiver. That we follow the BVRLA, the British Vehicle Rental and Leasing Association's guidelines for fair wear and tear. So that is something that is included as part of that. So you can rest easy a little bit on any kind of wear and tear that might happen throughout the course of your lease. Additionally, we do also include early termination protection as part of that as standard. I'll go through in a bit more detail exactly what that entails, as I know it's going to be really important for employers to kind of minimize their risk, which is something that we have obviously thought of in the scheme, and that we do help you do. We also, as I mentioned right at the start, provide solutions for charging. I'll come onto those in a little bit more detail. And there is even an exclusive discounted home energy tariff that you can get. And I'll touch on that in a little bit more detail in a second as well. Now, as for the charging, so as I mentioned, it's car, charger, and energy. So we have two potential options if you want to take, when you take out a vehicle, as to what you can do with regards to the charging. The majority of people do have, a driveway or garage where they can install a charger at home, and we provide you with a free home smart charger that is actually also installed for free, and it is yours to keep as well. Now, on top of that, you will also get 4,000 free miles of electricity and an extra 1p off overnight rates if you switch to Intelligent Octopus Go, the EV Saver tariff. So that's where the energy bit ties in. Alternatively, not everyone does have a driveway or garage where that can be installed. So, in the interests of making sure that there is something there for everyone, you can take our solution more on the road. And through Octopus Electroverse, you can have access to 1 million chargers all across the UK. It's a really neat app that we've built. It's essentially like Google Maps, but you have all of the public chargers on the UK on there, and you can see what types they are, whether they're available, what the cost is. But at least for the first sort of 3 to 6 months, you won't even have to worry about the cost if you take that option, because you get 4,000 miles of public charging credit loaded onto your Electroverse account. Now, as I mentioned, we do also provide early termination protection. So on that side of things, we provide really coverage for two types of events. The first is life events. So just going through the boxes there, if there's a situation where you were to lose your license for medical reasons, or in the really unfortunate case of death, or even death of a spouse, you are able to return that vehicle to us from day one, totally free of charge. Similarly, for going on parental leave or sickness leave, you are able to return that vehicle to us totally free of charge from day one. It is worth noting that there's another option here. So for parental leave or sickness leave, you could take a payment holiday. So what that means is for a period of up to 3 months on sickness leave or 12 months on parental leave, you can get a payment holiday. And the way that works is the business would continue to pay for the lease as normal during that time. And when the employee returns to work, Octopus will reimburse the business for the length of time that they have been off work. And that's, protection that is fully included as part of that. So it's essentially on Octopus. We appreciate that people may still need access to the vehicle to go to hospital appointments or anything like that. So yeah, that is another option that you have with that. One thing to note is when it comes to the parental leave or sickness leave, it's either take the payment holiday or return the vehicle at the start. So you couldn't sort of double dip in that respect. I just wanted to be totally transparent about that. And then the other set of events that we provide coverage for are work events. So as you can see along the bottom there, the employment status change. So in the case of resignation, redundancy, or dismissal, you are able to return that vehicle to us, just provided that you've had it for the first 3 months of the lease. And finally, the last thing to note on this slide is that there is a cap at 10 vehicles or 10% of your fleet, whichever of those two is greater, that can be returned to us in this early fashion. That is not really something that we've seen very often, but it is something to be aware of. Now, I see there's actually some questions coming into the chat from Tom. Does the breakdown cover include Europe? I'm actually not 100% sure on that. I know that you can drive your vehicle. You are insured for up to 60 days in Europe. If the breakdown cover is included there, I will need to double check that for you. So I'll come back to you on that one. But if there are any other questions, do keep them coming in. I'll try to address those as we go. So just some stats around the early terminations. So like I say, with obviously getting into an electric vehicle or any vehicle lease, it's probably the second biggest expense that people have after their home. So it's not a decision they take lightly. And as a result of that, we really see very few early terminations. So 71% of employers with cars on the roads have actually used 0 early terminations. And only 0.3% of drivers have early terminated within the first 3 months. So across the 37,000 vehicles that we currently have on the road, you're looking at about 100. So it is a very particular edge cases that these things tend to happen. And as I mentioned earlier, with Intelligent Octopus Go, you do have the ability to move on to the EV Saver tariff if you take a vehicle through our leasing scheme and you use Octopus Energy at home. And that means that you could make savings of around £1,000 a year compared to fueling a petrol car. And the charging rate at 6p per kilowatt hour, which is available to you for 6 hours every night from 11:30 p.m. to 5:30 a.m. That again is going to save you potentially £100 to £200 over the course of a year. And that is a new and exclusive tariff that is available, just like I say, to the Octopus EV salary sacrifice drivers and those that use Octopus Energy at home also. But the benefits don't stop there. So through Octoplus, you can also get 2 for £10 Odeon tickets. You can get free weekly drinks from Greg's or Cafe Nero. And as well as that, you can get discounts from restaurants for National Trust Days Out and many, many more. And as I mentioned at the start, we don't want to kind of just make the benefits available to people who just because they're an Octopus Energy customer or just because they are an Octopus Electric Vehicles customer. So we do offer £500 off to all your employees for solar panel or heat pump installation. And that's just something, again, that's part of our sustainability drive, our push to encourage adoption there. And the reason for it, again, just to be kind of totally transparent with you all, is that people who have one piece of smart tech are 70% more likely to get an EV, and there's probably a good chance that they will get that from us. So that is another additional little bonus that we like to throw in for, again, like I say, all your employees. And so on this slide, I just wanted to go through some rough calculations for how it might work, a representative example. So you can see on this slide what your gross and take-home pay might be without salary sacrifice. So paying almost £2,000 in tax in a year if you are earning £80,000 a year, as Julia is. This is based on an £80,000 earner, Julia, who's 40 years old. However, with salary sacrifice, You can reduce your national insurance liability as well as your income tax significantly. And then obviously the benefit in kind then gets added back into that. But ultimately, the difference in the take-home pay is just going to be £546, whilst actually out of the pre-tax income, Julia has paid £856. So she's getting £856 worth of car for a net difference in her take-home pay of £546, which over the course of a 4-year lease, that would give her total savings of nearly £15,000. And that is based on those tax savings, national insurance savings, but also the incremental benefit in kind rates over the next 4 years. Now, when it comes to managing your scheme from the perspective of whoever it is within the business who is, say, the scheme lead, the HR person, the benefits person, we've worked with so many businesses over so many years that we've really refined this and tried to make it as admin light as possible. So on that side, you would log in as the scheme lead into your HR dashboard. And there's a few things that you can do there and quite a few things also that are available to you. So I guess the most basic function of it is that you are able to check your approvals and track orders of your employees. So an employee will make a request for a vehicle, and then it's up to you to log on and either approve or deny that request. And once it's been approved, you're able to track the order. The second, probably most important thing that is on there is the salary sacrifice report. So that is something that we will make available to you on the 2nd of every month. And basically contained within that report is everything that you need to adjust payroll and to do any reporting to HMRC. As well as that, you do have the invoices in there. So actually, just to give you an idea of how the billing flows, so we will invoice the business on the 1st of the month. Then on the 2nd of the month, as I said, that salary sacrifice report is there. We then collect payment via direct debit on the 8th of the month. And then the business can use everything that's in that salary sacrifice report to charge the employee in their take-home pay and basically to get that back from the employee. A few other things that can be done within there is you can track your environmental impact. So again, in terms of CO2 emissions that you've offset, or the equivalent that is in terms of trees planted. And that's something that you can use for your Scope 3 reporting. And then additionally, you will find all your scheme documents in there, any FAQs as well. But we don't just provide you with this kind of central access point that you can sort of self-serve. We do also have an account management team that do provide that human point of contact. And so, we kind of want to take the dual-pronged approach here. So you can self-serve and do things yourself if you want to, and we do give you that option and make it very accessible for you. But equally, we appreciate it is good to have someone to talk to in case there's uncertainty or something's maybe not working as expected. So like I say, we do also offer that, and that's something that we take very seriously as well. So that's how it looks in terms of the management side of things from the business perspective. Now, in terms of what that employee journey might look like. So in terms of accessing the vehicles that we have available, we have a quote tool. So the employee would log on to there. They're using their email address and also a unique code that is unique to your business, which essentially identifies them as an employee of your business and means if they were to make any orders, that then gets routed through to your HR dashboard. But they can browse the range of vehicles that we have available, and they can also book in calls with EV specialists. So this is a dedicated team that we have that are there purely just to really guide your employees at the, when they're in the research stage of looking for a vehicle. They're purely there to, like I say, provide them with any advice and help them in their research, and really make sure that they ultimately make the right decision in terms of what their requirements are for getting into a vehicle, and to really provide that truly sort of customer focused experience. Once they do receive that vehicle, they will have a driver helpline and their own car portal where they can go to do things, for example, like book in a service or call us up if they've broken down on the side of the road or something like that. And then we can get them assistance as soon as possible. In terms of the vehicles that we have available, we've got virtually every car that is commercially available in the UK available through salary sacrifice. We, as I mentioned before, we're fully self-funded, so we work directly with the manufacturers to order these vehicles and to make sure that we can get them out to you as quickly as possible. So we pre-order, say, 100 or 200 of a certain makes and models. That means we get discounts from the manufacturer that we can then pass on to you, and we can then in turn actually get those vehicles out to you even quicker. So our average delivery time is 4 to 6 weeks, with 80% of our vehicles getting delivered within 90 days. So there's plenty of savings to be made there for you, versus going, versus looking at the sort of the factory rates. And not only do we offer, of course, brand new vehicles, but we do also offer nearly new electric vehicles. So these are cars that have been demo cars, leases that may be terminated early, or just former leases in a previous life. All of these vehicles are these slides are out of date now. Apologies for that. They're actually all under 4.5 years old and got less than 70,000 miles on the clock. We essentially will refurb them to retail standard and make them available for leasing again. The good news with that is obviously it tends to be a little bit more affordable, and as well as that, much better for the planet than buying brand new. And again, these can be available for delivery within weeks. So let's say you've got to the position where everything is fully signed and we're, ready to launch the scheme within the business. Then we will create a bespoke launch plan with you. So as I mentioned, we can tailor the communications to your employees. If there's maybe some content you wanted to share on social media, we're happy to help with that. But really what we're looking for here is, a smooth start to your life as an Octopus Electric Vehicles customer. So we'll provide you with all the support that you need. And, we do have these implementation plans. We've done them a lot. Whether, potentially you have already got a benefits platform that you need to integrate with, or whether you want to kind of maybe only start off with a selection of employees, or it's only going to be open to certain people. Do you only want it to people that have been with the company for a year or something like that? These are the sorts of things we're happy to kind of work with you on. And that's what we mean when we say about creating a bespoke launch plan. And again, when it comes to the launch, but also in terms of ongoing engagement, we do put on a range of virtual events. So we're running webinars at a rate of about, on average, 15 per week. So even if you have been with us for a while and maybe you've got a new joiner, someone needs to get up to speed, they can join one of our webinars and find out all about how it works. And we do also run in-person events. So if we are doing one of those, then we will be sure to let you know if it's sort of in your neighborhood, as it were. Now, to give you an idea of what is required to go live, should you be interested. So first of all, that's something that we can get done in typically around 2 to 4 weeks. And here's exactly how that entire process would flow. So first thing we need is a credit application from the business. That will just turn up as a soft search. We do ask for some supporting documentation. The credit team will review it, and we generally have that turned around in 48 hours. Then you would sign the master hire agreement. So that is the B2B contract that governs the relationship between us for leasing the vehicles to you as a business. and to sign a direct debit mandate. Now, obviously, as I said at the start, there's no joining fee, there's no fees. The only time we ever charge you any money would be for the leasing of a vehicle. Um, then you would approve the scheme documents and the employee eligibility. So the only scheme document that we would need approval for you from, or that needs to be approved rather, is what we call the driver handbook. That's something that sits between the employer and employee, and that really provides a way for the employee to acknowledge that they are entering into salary sacrifice agreement, that they understand what their responsibilities are with regards to the vehicle, but it also outlines everything that's included for them, all the benefits, FAQs as well. And then, yeah, once we have all of that, then we will get you set up on our systems within 5 working days. We'll make sure all the introductions happen to key people on both sides in terms of payroll, approvals, invoicing, and escalations. Then we will move on to making that launch plan, as I just touched on, to make your team aware of this, fantastic new scheme that they've got available as an employee perk. And yeah, following that, then they are able to order their EVs with support from the EV specialists that I mentioned just before. And so just to round us off, as I said, we've helped over 7,000 employers, and we would love to help you next. You can see some of the names that we have worked with on there. And it's, representing now over 1 million employees across the UK. And like I say, we would love to have members of the KBSA, join us on that. So yeah, any questions at all, please do stick them in the chat. I will put a link in there where you can book in a call with us or with me to discuss a little bit further. And yeah, then we can kind of go through anything in a bit more detail. I think Beatrice might circulate that as well. So Trevor, I can see, do you install chargers at business premises as well as at the homes of employees? So Octopus don't do workplace charging, but we do partner with a company called Blink, who can install chargers at business premises. And I'm just going to get onto the link to stick in there. We'll see if there's any final few questions. So there's the link to book in a call. Tom's asking, if installed at our showroom, would customers pay to charge, or would it be free of charge? So in that case, it would just be paid through whoever your energy provider is. Whether that be Octopus or someone else. So that would be a decision for the business if they want to make it free for the employees or not. Yeah, exactly, Richard. They're your charges. If you want to make them free as a business, then you can. Yeah. Otherwise, you can obviously also have them as paid charges. Can we access? Trevor's asking, can we access a list of vehicles on offer and the monthly charges ahead of joining the scheme? Yes, I can send you access to our quote tool. If that's something you wanted to do, please just book in a call using the link. And yeah, we can just have a very quick chat. It doesn't need to be long at all, but yeah, I can get you through access so you can see the full range of vehicles on offer on the scheme. And yeah, that's absolutely something you can do ahead of joining. So Octopus, we offer, Toby's asking, is it just for full EVs or does it cover plug-in hybrid too? So Octopus only offer full electric vehicles. The reason being for that, Toby, is that, the benefit in kind taxes are really kind of the lowest, at far lower than anything else on full EVs than they are for plug-in hybrids. And again, we think that's just really the future, to be honest. And so, as part of our sustainability mission, we're fully committed to full electric vehicles. I can see Richard is typing as well. Yes, correct. And obviously, yeah, with full EVs, the technology is rapidly, improving. Not that it necessarily needs to improve a lot, but for example, BMW are bringing out a car, the iX3, this year, sorry, now 2026. That is allegedly going to have 500-mile range. So, it's already at a place where many vehicles have, you know, in many cases over 300 miles of range, and now that's only going to be improving as time goes on, and also charging infrastructure is improving, as is the technology around that. Any final questions, please do pop them in the chat. I can see Trevor's typing again, but yeah, please do fire away while I'm here. Trevor saying, without looking, would you say your lease rates are competitive with the general lease marketplace? Yeah, absolutely. Like I said, we work directly with the manufacturers, so we're able to really get great prices on when we do place those orders. And yeah, we've got over sort of 7,000 employers now on the scheme who price has always been a big point for everyone. It's one of the most important factors that people are making. Obviously, everyone wants to save money, and yeah, we're able to offer some really competitive rates. We frequently get feedback that they found us to be cheaper than what they can find elsewhere. And as well as that, with the other bits and pieces like the free home charger, the reduced charging that you can get at home, or the public charging credit, all of these things add up to making it a really good deal, all things considered. Tom, would employees taking up the EV scheme need to change their domestic electric supply to Octopus? No, not at all. That is, keep with whoever you want, but it's just obviously, in order to be able to take advantage of the EV saver tariff, you would need to be on Octopus Energy. But if you are happy with your current energy provider, there's absolutely no need for you to change over to anything. We are separate businesses, But obviously, with the fact that we're part of the same broader group, we are able to collaborate with them in certain ways. And the EV charging is one of those things that we offer. Similarly, with say getting the heat pump or solar panels installed. Yeah, please do keep the questions coming if you have any. I see Tom is typing again. Tom asking, can you have more than one EV charged at the average domestic dwelling? Well, I believe you can only charge one per charger. Oh, can you have more than one EV charger at the average domestic dwelling? Yeah, I don't see why not, Tom. Provided that's something that is configurable on the switchboard. Um, then yeah, you should be able to have more than one installed there. Um, but I can double check that for you. I don't see why you wouldn't be able to have more than one installed though. No. Yeah, my pleasure, Tom. Thank you for all your questions. I think I can wait a couple more minutes to see if we've got any more messages. Trevor saying, so the leasee is the business, not the employee. Yes, correct. So it is a business to business agreement. So we do lease the vehicle to the business, and it is then leased to, I suppose, that employee. Um, we have the driver handbook, is where essentially, like I say, the employee take sort of ownership of that vehicle and of the lease. So that's documentation that I can share with you and sort of go into a bit more detail with you. Happy to do so as to exactly how it's set up and why it's set up that way. On a call, if you book that in using the link provided. Yeah, I'm happy to kind of run you through that. But correct that the leasee is the business, not the employee. Trevor saying, so in terms of these not being company vehicles but staff vehicles, I assume that's all covered in the agreement and with government. Yes, so fundamentally it is done through the company, because obviously you need to be a salaried employee of a company in order to get in the vehicle. But that is all of that is covered off in the agreement. Yeah, so it's obviously salary sacrifice is something that is very popular, because of those tax savings that you can make. And yeah, it is done. It is still a company vehicle essentially, but it is the staff that is able to kind of get the use of that and make those savings. If you already have a salary sacrifice scheme as an individual, can you still do this too? I got a push bike. So yeah, I mean, you can absolutely do. If you salary sacrifice through pension or cycle to work, you can still do that. Obviously, the only caveat is that you cannot drop below minimum wage through doing any type of salary sacrifice. So um, I don't know what salary you're on, but that would essentially be your only limitation um, with regards to that. So obviously, minimum wage is around sort of 24K ish. So yeah, you are kind of limited in terms of how much salary sacrifice in all you can do, but provided there is enough salary to sacrifice, then of course you can do that. Are there any last questions at all from anyone? Okay, I'll give it a couple more minutes. But if not, like I say, please do book in using the link that I shared earlier. If anyone wasn't able to join and you know that they wanted to see this, like I say, there will be a recording shared. Um, and again, they can obviously just always book in with us directly, and yeah, we can have a more sort of detailed conversation, around like your particular situation and whether it's sort of going to be the right thing for your business. All right. Well, thank you everyone for joining. I hope it's been a useful session for you all. Um, I hope that you've been interested to find out a little bit more about Octopus electric vehicles and why we're doing what we're doing, what sets us apart. And yeah, we would love to hear from any of you in the coming weeks or even further into the future. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, thank you all for your time today. I will speak with Beatrice to circulate the recording, send the link to book in a call yourself as well. And yeah, thanks again for your time, everyone. Take care.